share screen. All right, so we did have a 22.0.10.01 and 22.10.02 release, just with some little updates. So they're mostly indexing. There were a couple of things I wanted to point out that people might care about. 691 field can now be indexed or is now part of the subjects that are loaded into Aspen. So we wanted to get some of those local subjects in there. We had a library that needed those. Also talking through with people that were using the new Access Online button. Previously, we had set it so that if indicator 2 was a 0, the only way to get the Access Online to show for the 856 links was if it was a 0, we added the ability to be a 1, but if it is 1, then you can't have a subfield 3. So a little bit more complicated, but more inclusive of the way people actually catalog, which is what we want to do. And then some other little just error fixes and those kind of things. So then we've got the bulk of the 2211. So I know last time we had a ton of brand new functionality. This time it's a little less flashy. There's more like little things which are equally important. So we've got to do the little things that keep everybody running and make staff and patrons really happy, even if it's not a big new feature. So got a few cool things, but it's mainly going to be talking this time instead of lots of demos. Jordan will hit Aspen Lita here in a little bit. But some of the other things we've had a lot of requests for export to Excel. So that work was completed this time. So several people had noticed that, like, hey, when you did an export to Excel from search results, the authors didn't show up and we didn't get as much location and call number information as we wanted, or none. Also some updates for materials requests, and we've had a ton of actually requests for exporting lists to Excel. So that all works now. So yay, again, not super flashy to demo, but important stuff for people. We did do, we've had Evergreen support for 8 months now, all around. And we got back to it and were able to do some additional updates to it. So there are a few things. So in Evergreen, you have to set your hold notifications every time for a hold. There's more specific things that they request when you place a hold. So we've added the ability to define your hold notification preferences. Whatever you want, set those all up, update them, that kind of thing. And they'll load and save. So and then they also, the correct defaults are showing when you go to place a hold. So important thing, like for people that are placing holds all the time. Also enabled masquerade. So previously with Evergreen, Aspen would work, you could do masquerade as long as the patron had logged in before. We've updated it now so that you can do that even if the patron hasn't logged in before. So you're able to view account information, place holds for new checkouts, freeze thaw holds, all of those kind of great things. The other thing you can do is you can see hold position in the hold queue. So if we look at our hold queue, we can see that we're 1 of 1 or 6 of 6. So it'll give us that information. We're getting additional information about number of renewals remaining for physical checkouts. So working, just making that ILS integration better. So we can see we've got 2 on some of these and 1 remaining on some of the others. So important stuff for Evergreen. Also credits on a patron's account. So if somebody's had a refund of money that's been applied, then you can see that information as well. A lot of indexing things, a lot of little things. One of the things that's new that you'll see is in each of the indexing logs, there's an invalid records. So records that are invalid will get tracked separately from errors, just because it's more of a data cleanup thing than an error in Aspen. So we wanted to separate those two things out. We are also dealing with, we've found some MARC data that's a little trickier. So we found a couple of cases where people were using the / character in indicators, which was breaking Aspen. And it didn't know how to read those properly, so it's handling those. And then we also have some where the ILS is providing MARC tags that are not numeric, and we're handling those now as well. So good things just for dealing with more of that error handling, that kind of thing. More updates for like Koha, so manual renewals. We're looking at additional system preferences, all kinds of things, good things like that. Polaris saving carriers for text messages is updated. Also wanted to talk about, so last time at the gathering, we talked through some of the changes that we wanted. So we decided that rather than showing 2 columns for the location and the call number, that we'd rather see those as 1. So that work has been done now. So here we can see that that's showing and hopefully is a lot more readable, especially for longer text. I see some excitement there. And then the other thing was the being able to control when we saw the copies, as well as the show all copies or the where is it link. So we changed. So previously under search results, there was, oops. So there's the show where is it. Let me refresh quickly because I had a cached page there. We've changed that to copy information to show. And so this is going to explicitly say, hey, we're going to show the first 3 available copies and the where is it link always. If we do that, then we get, so regardless of how many copies, so here we only have 2 copies, but no where is it link. With that turned on, we're going to get the where is it so that we can click and see those. We can set it so that we only see the first 3 copies and never get the where is it link. So there, we never see it, even if we had more than 3. Or we can say, only show the where is it link. So we just wanted to give you a little bit more control for whatever you want, whether you want to make those available right away or kind of clean things up a little bit and just show the where is it link. But useful information that we just want to give people a couple of different ways to do things. So we also looked at the 856 links, and if there's more than 1 link, we're going to give people the ability to pick which link to view. So here we've got an Access Online link. In this case, there's 3. So here we can see, oh, there's just 2, sorry. So there we can see which one do we want to go to. So that, and that's just pulling the text out of the subfield Z. If there is no subfield Z, it's going to go to whatever, it will display whatever the actual link URL is. But we can go there and get information on the Library of Congress American Memory. So, other things, self-registration, we had some cases where people were noticing that if you hit the back button, information would pre-fill. So if somebody, like especially at a kiosk, had registered and the next person came up and hit back button before that session cleared, they could potentially see the person before them who had registered. We're just shutting that off, and that's for all ILSs. So again, the little things that make a big difference. Lots of other little things. So just some kind of little things to call out. When you're updating a pickup location, we're gonna limit the options based off the pickup rule. So if you're restricting that to say like, hey, I want to only allow items to be picked up at the owning library or owning location, then patrons can't get around to that by placing the hold on one location and then moving it. We're allowing materials request formats to be deactivated for new requests. So let me do that real quick. So under your library system settings, if you have the Aspen materials request system, let's go down there, looking at the Aspen request system. So here for the formats, so if I've been taking like playaway requests for the last 2 years and I decide, you know, I'm just not going to buy any more playaways, I can make those inactive. So then patrons will no longer be able to create new requests with that format, but you still have all of your statistics, you still have all of your historical data, and actually the librarian can go through and update to those old formats if they need to for some reason. So you can have some of those disappear after a while, or if you decide you're no longer purchasing cassette tapes, I mean, probably not. So you can deactivate some of those. Previously, if you had, you can delete them if there's no requests in the system, but we wanted to give you a way to get rid of them if you do have old requests and still keep that history. Let's see, those are the big things. Oh, the other one I wanted to call out was the default collection spotlight style. So if you're creating a new collection spotlight, it's going to default to the horizontal carousel rather than the horizontal. So just one of those things, if you are doing a lot with horizontal, just be aware that that's changed. Other than that, lots and lots of little changes, big littler changes, all important. I want to thank everybody who's contributed code this time. And I'll pass it over to Jordan to talk about LIDA.
Okay, so I get to, okay, now I can share the screen. I tried to share the screen a little bit too early. I get to show the fun stuff off today. So really exciting stuff with LIDA this month. You should all be seeing my screen. And last month we told you we were going to get started on LIDA facets and filters, and it is my pleasure to be able to demo that for you today. So I've gone over to our searches, and I'm just going to start with a timely search, something I'm looking for. Let's start with Thanksgiving crafts. Okay, so at the top of the screen here, you see a few different new things. A shout out to Swan and Tara, who did some usability testing on all of this design. So we feel pretty confident in how this is going to work for our patrons. So it's really nice to be able to test these designs on patrons ahead of time. But one thing that we added is the number of results here at the top. So this actually doesn't have to do with facets and filters. Just in poking around, we noticed that most of the time when you have search results, it says how many results. We should do that. So we added that. The second thing that I want to show you is the sort by. And speaking of accessibility, this was the one piece of all of it that didn't kind of pass with flying colors. And I think it's a little confusion. Patrons aren't used to sorting. So it might be confusion with what sorting actually is. So that we might make some tweaks here, but I just wanted to call that out as the only piece that maybe we wanted to make some additional changes to. But you click on it up there. You can choose something else to sort by. So I'm going to go ahead and sort by author and click update. And then you will see the results are now sorted by authors. Various is the first. So A, B, some more B down there. Okay. So now let's get to the really fun stuff, our filters. We have filters up here in the upper left. And if I click on it, I see all of the filters that are available in regular Discovery. So if I want to make some Thanksgiving crafts with my kids, the first thing I'm going to want to do is narrow by fiction, nonfiction, because I want to make actual crafts, not stories about crafts. So I'll click on nonfiction, and then I can click update down here at the bottom, and we will see it go from 26 to, we saw that 20 in parentheses. It's now going to give us those 20 results. But if I look at the top of the results, these are not looking like books, at least most of them, that I would want to do with kids. So I probably want to narrow it again. So I can click on filters right up here and go into audience, and I'm going to select juvenile this time. So now we'll just have those 9 results. So how do we know kind of what filters are being applied? We can see those up here at the top, and we can also apply additional filters, or you can apply, excuse me, filters, multiple filters at a time without having to kind of click that update button every single time. So if I go down to, I'm just going to pick some language, English, go back. And then if I go to format and click ebook, I'll go ahead and click update. Oh, I think I didn't show you what I wanted to show you, which is that you can do one at a time, or you can do them all together. So you have the option to fix them here, or kind of one. So we'll go back and we'll add. I think I lost the author one. We'll do audience, juvenile, back, and then we did fiction, nonfiction, back instead of apply, and then update. Okay, now we've got all of those facets applied up here. Oh, it looks like we might be missing a few. We are still working out a few little kinks in this one, but you can see the 9 results. With these filters, you can also reset all of them at once. So if I go down here to the bottom and click reset all, it will take away all of the filters that I've applied. And I'm back to the 26 filters. One more thing I wanted to talk about is that these filters exactly mimic what you have on Discovery. So they're going to be the same filters that you've chosen, the same order that you've chosen. And then we also, as you all know, have additional filters within Aspen, where they're kind of either ors. So it's like a select one, or ands, where it's a select many. So if I go into format here, oops, sorry, not format. Which one has the ors on these? Let me check my notes. Item type is the one. There we go. So item type in this one is an or, so I get the radio buttons, so I can't select more than one. If I go into author, you can also select multiples. Now, when I'm looking at this, sometimes we try to think of all of our different user groups. And one thing that I think of with our younger users, although they're probably older today, is that they don't necessarily think to click update. They're imagining in their head that these are applying as they're selecting them, which they kind of are in the background, but we don't want to load all the results all at once. We do have the update button down here, but if they don't see that and they appear, just think, okay, I've applied them. I just need to close this window and click X. We do get this like, hey, do you want to save or do you want to discard? So I do want to apply these. So I'm going to go ahead and apply those. Okay, so now we just see the 4 results with those 3 authors that we selected. So that's facets and filters along with a few bonus features. And I am going to hand it back over to Morgan.